Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Miners and Crafters realm. Today I have a couple things to go over. First of all, you might notice that I have more diamond armor than I did last time. That's because all of the episodes that you've seen so far were recorded in the first 2 weeks of the realm. Yeah, so if I just show you a little bit of what's been going on. First of all, this is the mine that I made before. I was able to get a handful of diamonds out of there, but I didn't mine them. I got Saucier Storm to let me borrow a Fortune 3 pickaxe, because mine only has Silk Touch. So I have a nice amount of diamonds finally. I'm running very low on iron though. So that will be something that I have to address in the near future. However, the biggest changes that we've made are actually in the nether. So, if we just go in here, I can show you quickly a little bit of what we've been up to. So, as you can see, we have a nether hub going, and that's a project that's being worked on by a couple of the members. I think everyone has their own little tasks to do throughout the nether, and mine is gonna be the Froglight farm, which maybe this episode, maybe next episode, we'll just see when I have time to work on it. But following this tunnel, it actually leads to a very specific location, so I'll just speed through all this. As you can see, this leads to a little villager trading hall that we've been working on it a little bit on and off, but I don't know why we have a wisp just sitting here, but we have 3 farmer villagers to trade for all of the stuff we're growing over here, as well as this automatic pumpkin farm, which I've AFK'd at a lot while editing the other videos. But we also have a lot of stonemasons, because we're right next to this giant mangrove swamp that I found in episode 3, and they're filled with clay. And if we just open up the trades for one of these guys, they trade clay balls for emeralds. So we've been doing that, as well as Demon was digging out a giant hole and was able to trade all of the stone materials obtained with these guys to get emeralds. So we've just been trying to get as many emeralds as possible. And then me and Saucier Storm were able to get a mending book out of this villager, which is nice. But then I also started working on these 3 right here, which, if we look, actually have diamond armor trades. So that's how I got all of my armor and stuff like that. You can see this guy has an axe and a pickaxe, so hopefully it has something good on it, but those enchanted items from villagers usually don't have anything too great. But this is pretty much what we've been working on for the past about month and a half since the realm actually started. Just figured I would catch you up on everything that's happened. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to my base and get back to you when I'm there. Okay, so I'm back at my base now, and the first thing that I need to do is actually work on getting a wool farm together. So I'm gonna grab any sheep that I see and just get them together to start while I build the automatic sheep farm. It's a very simple design. I don't know who originally came up with it, but I'm gonna build that and then cut back once I have it at least started. Alright, so I've been getting a bit more sheep going. And I also I built 2 modules, which you can see here. So the way that these work is there's a line of grass that goes all the way along so that the one that the sheep actually stand on keeps growing back so that they can eat it and grow their wool back. But the second that they eat the grass, it turns to dirt. And back here, if I just dig in a little bit, there's an observer that will detect when that happens. And as soon as the observer detects that, it sends a redstone signal to the dispensers, which on these two have shears in them so that the sheep automatically get sheared. And then after that, these minecart hoppers pick up the wool and put it into these chests. So once I get all the different colors going, I can leave it running, and then I'll just get a bunch of wool because I'm going to use it to kind of lay out where my mega base is going to go as soon as I find a location. So I'll cut back once I have a bit more progress on this. Alright, so a couple days later, I have managed to get all of these sheep put in, but I ran out of iron. So this is as good as it's going to get for a while at least. But you can see I've just been letting this run while I do other stuff like go to school and go to work and all that. So I have quite a bit of wool to work with, so I shouldn't need any of the other colors just yet. I mean, orange alone is doing really good, but we're actually going to come back to that because I'm actually going to start looking for a spot to put my base. But just before we do that, I'm going to try to do a little bit of enchanting because I have protection 4 on my chest plate, but nothing else. I have good boots, a good pickaxe, but my pants are almost broken. And I don't even have a helmet, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of enchanting done, and then I'm going to head out. Alright, I got a little bit of enchanting done. I have all my stuff ready to go. You can see here I just threw some mending on the basic enchants I got on my armor. Still don't have a helmet, but I got the donkey all loaded up with all the wool I'll need. I have 1 chest, but I brought some wood with me. I ran into someone's farm, and I'm assuming that jungle temple is looted, but we're just gonna kind of start heading off in one direction and see if I can find a spot that I like for my base. Okay, starting to see some of the stuff from the new update. So that means I'm in unexplored chunks. We've got the new cactuses and all the grass that goes in the desert. So once I get out of this desert, I'm hoping to find like a plains or some sort of flat biome that I can set up in. Alright, so I found this little plains area that I think I'm going to temporarily set up at because we have a mangrove swamp right here, but then there's a jungle here, a little bit of acacia with a floating island, a little bit of desert, but there's just so many different biomes all around here. And this is just a really big lake. Like, let me see if I can turn up my render distance. But I found this area, and it's got all these different biomes around here that are super useful. And this is a really big lake right here. Like, I might pull up the chunk base of this area in a second to show you, but this is where I think I'm going to start setting up for my mega base because there's just so much stuff around here. The only thing that's really missing is Pale Garden, so I just brought a few saplings with me just to kind of get things started. But yeah, so I'll cut to the chunk base video of this area. So here we are on the chunk base website with the actual world that we're in. And this right here, this is that little area where I set up. And you can see there's a mangrove swamp, a regular swamp, a jungle, there's a beach, a savanna, there's more mangrove swamp here, there's more savanna, but there's just a lot of biomes around here. And there is actually a pale garden up there with a dark forest, birch forest, regular forest, there's a meadow. But what's most interesting is the fact that there's a village and a pillager tower right next to each other in 3 different spots all around here. And this is the lake. So this lake is actually going to be the center point of my base. So I don't want to give too much away now, but I was looking specifically for something like this. And because there's so much stuff around here, like there's even a cherry grove, I think this is going to be good just because it allows me to be able to have access to so many resources while I'm out here, so I don't have to travel as far to get to them. So this is definitely where I'm going to be setting up my base. So raid farm can happen at, oh my gosh, there's even more than I realized. But a raid farm can happen at any of these spots. So that's nice. And then I'm sure there's plenty more stuff. Like there's probably a million trial chambers around here. I don't have all that stuff turned on just because, like, I just feel like it's cheating sometimes. Where did I go? I'm up here. So you can see, here's spawn all the way down here. So I traveled all the way over here. So there's probably like a million trial chambers and various other things, but I don't have those turned on because I feel like it's cheating and I like to find them for myself. So I just have these turned on just because I did notice that there was the village and the outpost there. So that's when I circled back and realized this whole thing was actually a lake. So yeah, this is where we're going to set up, and yeah, cut back into the Minecraft. Alright, so I did make a quick journey all the way back to my base, and I grabbed a few things. You can see I started planting some trees, but mainly what I got was materials for a moss farm, because my mega base is going to involve a lot of stone and grass and moss. So I'm starting with a moss farm. However, I am eventually going to make a stone generator and possibly a cobble generator as well. So obviously one thing that those all have in common is needing lava. So I have this temporary little lava farm going here. Once I get more dripstone and iron, I'll expand this, but that's kind of what I have going there. But I did dig out this whole area down here, and this is where the moss farm is going to go. I'm not smart enough to make my own designs, so I'm using a design by Silent Whisperer. So I'll make sure to link that in the description. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna start working on that and then cut back when I'm done. I know in the last clip I said I was gonna jump to when it was done, but I decided I haven't done a time lapse in a while, so I'm just gonna time lapse me building this. So yeah, let's jump right into that. So I finished building the farm. Obviously don't take my time lapse of it as a tutorial because I was actually missing one observer, which is right here, and that caused so much trouble. I had to wait for enough lava to come through to make this. Go through and get quartz just so that I could make another observer. So definitely just check out the original video that I have linked, and let's pretend that I did this perfect the first time. I'm going to turn it on just to test it. Hopefully it works. Alright, so it's been a little bit. I did set it up so that half of it will turn into bone meal and half of it will go in here. So, because I need moss for my mega base, but I also need bone meal to supply the farm, so that's good, and that'll be a huge help. I have all this wool with me so that I can actually like lay out my mega base, but for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it here. So that's pretty much gonna do it for this episode. I know it's been a little while since I uploaded last. I've just been really busy with a lot of real life stuff, which is kind of dumb, but I'm back now, so hopefully I can keep these coming out, and if not, I have some stuff that I recorded ahead of time that I can put out just in case. And before I go, one last thing. I will give you a hint as to what my final base plans are. And it's actually right up there above me. I'm going to leave it at that. So, catch you in the next one.